Greetings. I'm Barbara E. Ringrose. I'm the founder of Wow Women Optimizing Women, and you have come to our Wow YouTube channel. Really appreciate the fact that you're taking time. I know there's so many other podcasts for you to view. You can see us at Wow at wowwomenus.com. And we started a podcast in August of 2025. It's called Optimize Her Too, where we have a lot of special guests coming on, much like we do today with our special guest Lashan Ross, who is with Prime America. So, welcome, Lashan. I thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me. It's actually a pleasure, Barbara. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And you're here I am in Manchester, Maryland. I was telling you the weather hasn't been, very accommodating, and you're down in Miami. How is it in Miami?
Ooh, listen, our weather is usually all over the place. So last couple of days it's been very gloomy, rainy. Today it's extremely hot. So, our weather is a little up and down most of the time.
Yeah, the beauty of this virtual opportunities that we have, technology. I know people get worried about AI and some things there, but the beauty of technology is I get to meet ladies like yourself, and you can do the same, and we can talk about what it is we're doing and what sets us apart from others. So I'm going to lead with that and ask you, what sets you apart? LA from other people doing what you do.
Wow. What sets me apart? I think what sets me apart is literally have a extreme passion for what I do. I love it. I was working at a job. I did have a six-figure career, and I actually left that job to pursue this just because I saw the difference that I was making in the people's lives. I saw the independence that I was providing people. It gives me like a sense of it gives me a sense of joy, and I love that. And everything that I do, I'm very passionate about. I'm very personable. I'm not one size fits all. So when I sit down with my clients, it's customized especially for them, and again, it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding. And one of the things that I do is I check in with my clients. Some of my clients I check in with monthly, just depending on what we're working on. And a lot of times that's rare to find because everyone is so busy, or everyone is just trying to get this person in and get this person out, get this person in and get this person out. So I think my passion and just my personal ability is what sets me apart from everyone.
Today I went to the doctors. One of my family doctor referred me to an ENT specialist, and I had never met this gentleman before. And one of the things you talk about setting yourself apart, and it's important for people to know that you have that personal touch because the one thing missing, you're right, everybody wants to shoot you out the door. Now, mind you, he was about 20 minutes behind schedule, but he had a crowded room as well. His waiting room was very crowded. But I thanked him after we had that consultation because he took time with me. It wasn't like I felt like I was in a cookie cutter or I was, in a cattle yard where they're just getting you in and getting you out. It's not personal. And I feel that that's so important today that you're providing that level of service to people. So, speaking of that, what is it that you specialize in, LaShawn?
Ooh, I specialize in so much. So my range is very broad. So some of the things that I do life insurance, I do investments, I do mortgages, I do legal. So it's a broad range of different things relating to finances. But the one that I been have been doing a lot of the most is definitely that investment part to go along with the assisting my clients with their debt situation. So a lot of times, we find ourselves in debt and we don't really necessarily know how to get out of it. And the reason that ties into the investing part is because people feel like they don't have enough money to invest. So part of that is sitting down with me and just let's find out where we're bleeding, and let's start stopping the bleeding, and start healing. So that's one of the things that I do with my client. I show them how to free up money. I get them investing. It doesn't take a lot of money to start investing, depending on which company you go to. If you have $25 a month, you can start investing with me. And as we go along, that money will increase.
It's interesting that you say that because I hear that so often. I don't have enough money. I think there's another thing. People are embarrassed when they go to someone. A lot of people have that debt, and they're embarrassed when they go and speak with someone. And I'm glad that you take that personal approach because that makes them feel more comfortable when they connect with you. $5 adds up over time. And I love talking about real estate, finance, investment, mortgage lending. Those things have always fascinated me, and I've been in banking, mortgage, real estate, uh, mortgage career of 22 years, so I can relate to a lot of what you're talking about. When you talk about mortgage, we're gonna shift gears from the investment piece over to the mortgage piece. Do you have a special type product? Or let's say, are you interested or you have a better feel with certain people that are doing, purchasing or maybe even refinancing? What could you offer our audience here?
So one of the things I've been doing a lot of is definitely the home equity lines of credit or the home equity loans. So with that comes again, we talking about this debt. You got to kind of expose yourself and let me know what's going on so we can kind of help you out. So a lot
Right.
of times people come to me with debt, but guess what? They have a home. That's definitely something that you can use to your advantage. So with a home equity line of credit, we can go ahead and get you a loan, pay off your debt, get you a fresh start. 10 times out of 10, what you are paying in your debt is less than what you'll be paying after that home equity line of credit. So that's definitely something that I've been helping a lot of clients with that have
2
homes.
tools, 2 tools, home equity. When you say home equity, what you're saying is, here's the value of your property. Here's what you owe on your current mortgage. That's the equity. And there are certain parameters when somebody borrows against their home using a home equity line, which means it's kind of like a credit card, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that you have a limit
Mm-hmm.
and here's a loan, it's fixed like most car loans, let's say, and you have a monthly payment. Which would you recommend to someone if they say to you, I have students, young children, we're going on a vacation, we have a wedding, there's maybe some home improvements. Of course, you're developing the rapport with this person or this couple, and you're talking to them. Which one do you feel would be better suited for them? Does it really matter if it's a loan or a line, for instance?
So it doesn't matter. It all depends on what the client wants and where what we discuss as it comes through, because some people have to understand that they're not good with money, right? And if you understand that you're not good with money, then maybe you need something that is a one time thing and you pay off, as opposed to something that is continuing to revolve, because you'll put yourself in a position where you're never paying it back. So it all depends on that person, what we've discussed, what their financial habits are, certain things like that. So that'll determine whether or not I put that person in the line of credit or the home equity loan.
That's interesting. Now, do you have a certain niche, for instance? Do you like first time home buyers? Do you like younger adults? Are you looking for, let's say, that aging population that's looking to downsize? Is there a group, veterans? Is there a group of people that just give you that satisfaction, that little niche that you really like enjoy so much?
Oh wow. I love working with the first time home buyers, especially that new family, just got married, just have kids, purchasing our first home. So I love those first time home buyers. Don't tell anyone, but they're my favorite. I love doing everything else, but they're currently my favorite right now. Just because it's like it's so new to them, and then again, I feed off energy. So when they see, hey, you're approved for this, or when they finally get that home, they always reach back out, say, hey, thank you for your assistance. I appreciate it. So that's what keeps me going in this business. So I love those first time home buyers.
Now, do you see refinancing? Do you do refinancing?
Yes, I do refinances as well.
The rate was what, in the low sixes? Is that where we are?
Yeah, they've actually been teetering between the high 5s, low 6s, yeah.
So we're
So
starting to see a decrease there. My daughter and her husband, my son-in-law, bought at the end of August last year, 2025, and they were in the 6.25 range, I believe, 6.5 range when they were looking. Rate means a lot, but at the same time, I told people it's all relative. Comparing what you can buy and what that rate is and the term. A lot of people want to go a 30-year term because they feel that they wanna stretch it out to the lowest monthly payment. Do you look at giving them options, for instance, to, let's say, a 15 or a 20-year term?
right. So yes, that's definitely an option. One of the things I do, like I said, everything is customizable up according to who I'm sitting in front of. So a
Mhm.
30-year term may work for this person, but a 15-year term may work for that person. I had one client where they initially had a 30-year term. We ended up doing a home equity loan, freed up some income, put them in the position to pay off their home within a 16-year time frame. So it all depends on what's going on and what the situation is. So
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that you have these type of consultations because a lot of people, all they do is hear everybody talk about a rate, 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 rate. They need to like, okay, that's important. Everybody wants the best rate. We got that. Let's put that to the side. What we need to do is, like you said, focus on consulting with you because you're unique, you're special. Your situation may not be like your neighbors. You may have other debt that you need to combine into the mortgage, like with the refinance we were just talking about, so that you can have now your income's working for you. You have that extra that perhaps now you can start thinking about doing the investing. And that is something I think a lot of people, when they talk mortgage, they don't necessarily talk about the investing piece. And you have that ability to talk that with them.
absolutely, absolutely. And that just comes with just a complete lack of financial education just all around. I mean, I was in that same position 6 years ago. I didn't have the financial education. It might be 7 years now. I didn't have the financial education but once I realized what I needed to be doing, I just started educating myself and sitting down talking to people that are doing the things that I want to be doing in my life. So that's just the main thing, just getting that education part. And the great thing about me is that I don't just do something for you. I give you the education behind it. I tell you why I'm doing it. I tell you what I'm doing. And if you have any questions, you have my personal direct number. You can call me directly. I'm not going to say, hey, call the company. No, you have my direct number. You can send me a call, send me a text or give me a call.
I used to say there's no greater compliment as a mortgage loaner when I was in the business. My husband is a real estate agent with Remax.
Mm,
We met when we both got our license back when we were 21 years old, and he continued in the business. I went into banking and entrepreneurship, and then did so many different things, and ended with that 22-year career in mortgage. And one of the things that I realized as I did more and more mortgage lending, much like you, that education piece is so important. It's so critical when someone calls you and asks you. You now have the tools to best advise them. So the education isn't just in the beginning of when you start a new profession, occupation, like investment or like mortgage. It's an ongoing tool that education is so key. And I think that you offer that is a major help to your clients when they come to you. So I applaud you for that. On the did you say insurance that you also do insurance?
Yes, I do life insurance as well. Mhm.
Life insurance. That's interesting. So, do you, again, do you have a specific type policy for maybe those young homeowners that you discuss with them?
So one of the policies, working with Primerica, we only do term policies. So term policies range between 10 years to 35 years based upon age and different factors. So that's definitely something that I sit with them. How do I determine how much life insurance someone needs?
Right.
It depends on what are your assets? Do you have any kids? If something were to happen to you, how long do you want to provide for them? So it's actually a series of questions that I ask the client when I'm sitting down in front of them to determine their actual life insurance needs, right? One of the things that happens is, okay, my life insurance needs is here. However, again, going back to the debt situation, financially, I'm only able to afford this. The great thing about the policies is that you can always increase them, you can always decrease them based on your needs. So just because you're in in a policy now doesn't mean it has to stay locked in to that. And that comes with a discussion with sitting down with me again. What's changed in your life where we need to increase it, or what has changed in your life where
Definitely.
we need to decrease
Definitely.
it? Hmm.
So if somebody has, like, I'm thinking open enrollment when I have my insurance, my health insurance, for instance, does the life insurance, does the term policy also have like an open enrollment period, or is that something they can do at any time? Make
All
those
day,
changes.
every day, anytime, and 65 days of the year.
And that's good to know because if you have a catastrophic event, if you have a windfall and of money, and let's say that you have maybe it's a job, maybe you have a new job and you have a salary increase, like you said, the opportunities with children, with family,
Hmm.
when those come into play, you want to make sure that everybody's safe and that they're taken care of if, God forbid, something happens and that that mortgage is paid off. I'm assuming that when you talk to them, that you would include what's the balance of my mortgage?
Absolutely.
That's a biggie. That's a biggie. I'm sure we've all heard stories about that. And I think it's important too for people to understand these are all critical things that we all use. Not everybody has a house.
Right.
But if somebody wants to come to you for that, term policy, that insurance or that investment piece, that's like a tool that they can use to get and prepare, isn't it, for the, future for a purchase.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, again, what sets me apart. I don't just sell you a product. So I'm not selling you a life insurance policy. When you sit down with me, I'm actually giving you a financial plan. So
Oh, neat.
I'm showing you the life insurance, how it ties into the investment piece, how it ties into this. And it's going to be customized based on everything that we discuss. So it's actually a financial plan, not just selling you a product.
And I think that's one of the that cuts, you apart, let's say, separates you from other people who are just, we used to call it order takers. Somebody comes to me, they want a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I'm going to give them 30-day fixed rate mortgage. Done. They go to settlement and then they come back and they say, oh, I need, or my mother in law moved in. And, it was something that you could have had a discussion around if you were speaking with someone like yourself, because they may have said, mother-in-law was thinking about coming to live with us in the future. Well, the future is now.
Mhm.
And, they could have made a different decision, maybe a better decision if they would have had a consultation like you offer your clients so they can make a better choice.
Absolutely. And that's all I want. Like I said, I provide that education piece. I don't sell anything. I educate everyone that I sit down in front of and then just allow you to make an informed decision. If it works for you, if it sounds like something that you want to do, you want to be financially free, financially independent, great. Let's do business. If it's something you have to think about, no problem. Most of the time, I had a young lady that I sat down with 2 years ago. Sat down with her one time, gave her the education. She literally called me a few months ago and said, "LaShawn, I never forgot what you told me." She said, "I'm
Aw.
ready to do business."
Oh, you had such a great impact on that person. I used to have that too, and you're right. It really gets you in the heart. Some of the
Mhm.
things, and one of them that I notice when I talk to young people, and since that's more or less your niche, it sounds like, and that's your, greatest feels. Um, Young people and, actually other people, but mainly young people think that they have to have a big down payment or 20%, they quote me. If someone is looking for a purchase, what do you recommend, especially first-time home buyers? Of course, situations may vary, but can they do a mortgage with, let's say, 5% down now?
So yeah, so we you can do a mortgage with 5% down. Those usually come with the conventional mortgages. A lot of times people want to do the FHA because it's the 3.5% down stand and the long term, but you have to realize you have to carry a certain insurance when it comes to that, which is pricey over the span of that time you have that mortgage. So it's so many different options 5%, 3%, 3.5%. The 20% is usually something that you're going to probably get in a bank. They'll usually do that, or you have certain communities that will require you to put 20% down. So you have to be mindful when it comes to that. So it all depends. There's several different options out there, and that's a good thing with what I do is that again, nothing is one size fits all. And that comes with that personalization, that customizable feel. What works best for you in this moment in time? And then what's gonna
Educate, educate, educate. And
absolutely.
as I say on our Optimize Her Too podcast, educate, elevate, empower, and that applies here at WOW as well. I think, too, that when you talk about the different programs, you mentioned FHA. One of the things people don't realize, and I know people put them in, mortgage lenders will put their clients in a FHA loan because some of the parameters, some of the ratios are a little bit different, if you will. Their debt to income, total debt to income. And one of the things that FHA, and I always say caveats are important. I always say when I make a statement about something in specifics that things can change. That's my caveat. Things can change. Federal regulations, if change, for instance. So if they have an FHA loan, you mentioned the insurance, which is another piece. Thanks for bringing that up
Mhm.
because that FHA insurance used to be something that would fall off much like a conventional loan, and you used that term earlier, where now, based on current guidelines, they're stuck with that monthly mortgage insurance premium
Right.
that never falls off. So
Mhm.
that's something important to note as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. Because you have to realize, like you said earlier, $25 adds up over time. Imagine paying that insurance and you're paying $200 over a 30-year time frame. And how much extra money have you shelled out, right?
Yeah.
This is money that you could have been contributing to an investment account that's gaining interest. How much money would you have, right? So it all depends on what that person needs. And they can start off with the FHA and we can always say, hey, let's look at this now. You're in a position to do something different. But definitely knowing your options and just understanding how all of this stuff works will determine what the best option is for you and what's going to make you successful over time. You would rather be paying,
So important.
yeah,
So important, LA.
definitely, definitely,
My goodness. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
definitely.
to cut you off there.
No, you're good. But you have to understand that you're getting charged interest, right? On a debt instrument, whereas you could be making interest on an investment instrument. So it at the end of the day, it's all about where you're putting your money, whether it's in a home, whether you're using credit cards, whether you're a frequent Uber eater or
Yeah,
DoorDasher, whether you fall into
Starbucks,
that.
whatever your gourmet coffee, yeah,
Exactly, Starbucks, if you fall into that subscription trap where you have 20 different subscription, HBO, so on and so forth, all I ask is someone to sit down with me and let's map this out, right? When you put it on paper and you look at it yourself as a client, you'll be surprised how much money you're shelling out for things that really aren't necessary. So I sat with a client a couple months ago and gave her her budget worksheet. And I said, listen, I don't even understand how you're even functioning because you're at a shortfall this amount of money. I said, let's sit down and look at this. So we mapped it out. We made some life changes, freed up $1,000. Guess what? She's investing for herself. She's investing for her son now. So she's putting
that's
him
so
in a better position.
that's
Those are
so
the things
amazing.
that I do.
And that's so much appreciated. I appreciate your taking time out of your busy day to do this with us. We want people to understand that we are educating. We're educating. We want to educate you so that you're making the right decisions. And for people to get in contact with you, LaShawn, do you have a specific number or email you'd like them to use?
Yeah. So my phone number is 786-278-1843. My email address is LAROSS0107 at gmail.com.
Very easy. LA Ross, LaShawn Ross, the mortgage, investment, and insurance guru that can help you with your financing needs and have that consultation that's going to put you in a much better financial situation. That's what it's all about. So be sure to follow, like, and share this video because we want the whole world to be educated about their money. And this is something people just are weary of talking about. And I'm so glad to have met you, LaShawn, so that you're giving people, our viewers, an opportunity to understand more about their money.
Absolutely. I appreciate you again, Barbara.
You got it, girl. All right, everyone out there, thank you again for joining us here at Wow Women US on YouTube and stay well.